I'm your host, Dr. Rita, Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show today. Wow, what a crazy week, but it's Thursday and tomorrow's Friday. Yay. Anyway, so last week we started talking about reptilians, and actually I'm going to just put this on here. And so there were three main tenets that I was hoping to share in this presentation. So I talked about where the conspiracy theory about reptilians living in underground bases came from, and these are their three main claims: that reptilians live in underground bases, that they possess advanced technology, including genetic engineering, and their goal is to control the world via the New World Order. And so last week I talked about how there is this global narrative, and you can be in one area of the world and find stories that are remarkably similar to narratives that you find in a completely different section of the world. And so today we are going to be starting to talk about the underworld, because in antiquity, that's what it was called. It wasn't called, they didn't refer to these underground realms as underground bases. It was the underworld. And the concept of the underworld is found in every culture on the planet. And in essence, especially in deep antiquity, it was the place where people went to when they died. So it wasn't necessarily, and really hasn't been associated with hell, double air quote, but it's where you went to when you died, and there was no judgment one way or the other. And so, but also tied to that, there are some of the gods whose home was in the underworld, deep within the earth, deep within a mountain, or deep beneath the waters. And so we have a connection to gods living there. And access is often described as being through the mouth of a cave. All right. Got to find my mouse. There we go. And so there are a number of stories, and you find a lot of these in like Native American culture, but you find them in England and other places where the entrance may appear open at one point in time. Sorry, looking for my glasses. May appear open at one point in time and then disappear from view completely and instantly. So there's this one Native American story that I'm recalling right at the moment, where there is this hunter and he sees the deer higher up in a mountain, and he follows the deer up, and there's an entrance to this cavern, and he goes inside the cavern, and there are all these people and houses and structures. And he stays there for a little while. And when he comes out, like a number of years have passed by, and he goes to take like his grandson, I'm paraphrasing here, obviously, to the location where this cave opening was, and it was gone. So they might find these openings accidentally, like when they're hunting. There are stories where individuals are taken to this underground realm. Like there are a number of stories, these come out of the UK, England area, where a baby is stolen and a log is left in its place, but then a nursing mother is then abducted and taken into the underground realm to nurse the baby, because the mom, air quote, is unable to do so because she doesn't have the right kind of milk to nurse the baby. There are stories, you find these also, where an individual is lured into this underground realm. And these stories are always tied to some kind of missing time. They go into this underground base, this underground realm, and when they come back out, time has gone. So you think of like Rip Van Winkle, he was gone for 40 years. And so there are people that go in and they think they're there overnight, but 20 years has passed, and there are these legends of, this guy that used to live in the town, he just disappeared. And the only remnants of his family are like his grandchildren. It's also identified that these stories, they're not just empty caves, they are cities inside the earth. And you don't get a ton of descriptions of who's living in this area, but they're not necessarily described as being human. I'll just say that. So as an example, because I like to give more specific things, in the Indian epic, the Vishnu Purana, Patala, sorry, bad phonics, Patala, which is this underground world, is 70 Johannes beneath the surface of, or 70,000 Johannes beneath the surface of the earth. I'm just going to say that it's really, really, really far down. Gilgamesh, in the epic bearing his name, the Epic of Gilgamesh, is described as having traveled 12 leagues into the dark denseness until he arrived at a light-filled chamber of the underworld. So again, 12 leagues, pretty far. We know from myth that the home of the Sumerian fertility god, so he was a water god, which is located in the watery deep, is described as having his house built of gold, silver, and lapis. And there are other structures down there also made of gold, silver, bronze, and other miraculous materials. Plato, now we've all heard of Plato, believed that the earth was littered with a series of hollows that were filled with trees, airs, fruits, and flowers. And in the Iliad, so there's the Odyssey and then the Iliad, written by Homer. Homer said that an anvil would take 9 days to reach the realm of Hades, which is the Greek underworld, the land of the dead, from the earth. But it would take another 9 for it finally hit the bottom of Tartarus, which is the lowest level of the underworld. Okay, so with that said, when you talk about the underworld, there's not just one level. It's kind of like Dante's Inferno, where he talks about the 9 levels of hell and the 9 levels of heaven. So in India, according to them, the underworld is composed of 7 realms or dimensions. The 7th and lowest of them is called Patala, which I mentioned, or Nagaloka, the region of the Naga, the snake people. The Mayans, so we have India on one side of the world, and then we have the Maya in the Popol Vuh, which is one of their major historic texts. The underworld was entered through a cave on the Earth's surface, and you entered into the first of 9 levels. From Egypt, there's the Book of Caverns, and it tells us that there are 6 caverns of the underworld. And in the Sumerian text, Inanna's descent into the netherworld, Inanna is required to pass through 7 gates to finally reach the bowels of the underworld, so the deepest area of the underworld. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, so going through the underworld from level to level was apparently not that easy. So the Egyptian Book of the Dead describes the path by which, and this is the deceased god king, must enter to or travel to enter Duat, which is their heaven kind of area. And there were challenges and tests that they had to undergo in order to move from one area to the other. Back to the Popol Vuh, the Mayan Popol Vuh, it tells us that the way is fraught with challenges the individual must pass to enter the realm of the dead, the underworld. Zilbaba, the name of their underworld, seems to be rife with tests and trials and traps for anyone who came into the city. Even the roads to Zilbaba were filled with obstacles. And then back to Egypt, the Book of Gates, the soul is required to pass through a series of gates at each hour of the journey. Each gate is guarded by a different serpent deity that is associated with a different goddess. Okay. So, in addition to this underground area, it is believed that there's more than one of these, and I'm going to say bases. And these bases are connected to each other via tunnel systems that connect one underground realm to another. So Plato, again, confirms claims made by modern ufology. Plato states hollows are connected by subterranean channels. But Plato's not the only one who refers to these tunnels that lie beneath the earth. Inca legends, so Maya is in Mexico, Inca is in South America, in Peru, tell of a vast network of tunnels that crisscross the length and breadth of the planet, complete with underground cities. Pizarro, the Spanish conquistadors, entered Peru hearing of the Inca gold being held in the tunnels that were thousands of years old beneath Cusco. In more recent years in Cusco, people have entered these caverns or entered these tunnels and have never been seen again. One man did make it out and brought with him 2 bars of gold, but according to officials, he had gone mad. But it makes me wonder, did he go mad or was he actually describing what he saw, and what he saw was too over the top for the locals to handle? And then in the Apache Indians report that their ancestors took refuge in ancient tunnels during a cataclysmic disaster on the earth. And they wandered these immense passageways for years, carrying, and I'm going to air quote, the seeds of life in the new world. Many people thought they did hang out with the ant people, and some suggest that these ant people were actually the Greys. But while they were there, these residents taught them all kinds of new things. And they report that they went into the cavern in an area that they were familiar with. And when they came out of the cavern, a very long time later, they were unfamiliar with the land, unfamiliar with the territory. It was just a very different place. So it would be like getting in a tunnel somewhere in the northeast where there's trees and water and all kinds of stuff, and traveling and then ending up in New Mexico where it's kind of, a high delta or, plaza and dry and an arid environment. It would just be a very different thing. Okay. So I'm going to stop there for this week, because next week we're going to talk reptilians and what myth has to say about the reptilians themselves. And so if you missed the beginning of this presentation, I started it last week and I did break it out so you can just listen to the presentation by itself. This is part 2. Next week will be part 3, where we'll be talking about reptilians, because now you know all about the underground bases. And we will go from there. And so before I go and say hi to everyone, I just want you to remember that, I'm going to start doing some free readings here. And these readings are just very general readings of whatever comes to me in this moment. If there are things going on in your life where you need some deeper insights, you have some specific questions, you feel stuck, you have a health related concern, please do reach out to me via my website, soulhealer.com, and schedule a private consultation. That would be great. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter. And also down below in the comment area, the setup for the show, are all my links to social media: Twitter, Rumble, BitChute, Facebook. If you could go and like, subscribe, set up notifications, all of those things that really kind of help you, build a population, because I love doing this and I would love for you guys to share the word, with any friends that you might have that you think they could use my help and services. If you're listening to the show, not in the live format, and you would like to join the show and get a free on-air reading, the easiest place to go is to YouTube and go to my channel, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. So if you go there on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central and click the live link, it will get you the opportunity to join the chat. So with all of that said, I am going to kind of go through the comments. If you would like to get a reading from me or want to communicate with me directly, please use all capital letters so I can separate out, what you're trying to communicate with me and the conversation that's going on in the background, because you guys have become a very lively group, and I love that you're being a lively group, but I need to be able to separate out, like, I need to read this and read this on air. Okay? Thanks, everybody. All right, so let me get up. Okay, so Marco's here, and he upvoted Fabulous Rita Hair, also fabulous. And Marco's psychic. Did everybody know Marco's psychic? Hi, Ahura. Veronica, nice to see you here. ERRT Radio, nice to see you. Veronica, no caps. So if there's no caps, okay, I'll put this up here. Hi, Yvonne. And yes, it's Dr. Rita time. Okay, so Melanie says, can we ask questions here? So Melanie, you can ask for a reading, but if you have specific questions you want answered, it's best that you schedule a private consultation. Okay, and O'Hara is excited to hear about reptilians, and I'm excited to share about reptilians. Okay, so Gary's the first one out the door. All right, Gary would like a reading number 2. All right, Gary, I need to clear the cards first because I haven't done that yet. Because I was talking reptilians. Okay. All right, Gary wants a 2. Okay, so Gary, this is your card for today. So Gary, I'm just feeling like you have nervous energy around you, or in you. I feel like, part of you is almost feeling like you're being attacked. And I don't know if this is the most appropriate thing, but I know it will make you feel better. But I feel like if you say something to the situation from a very neutral place, you have to get in a very neutral place, so that you can get some kind of resolution, because I feel like things are going on and you're choosing not to say something, and it's bothering your inner world. Damn it. So I think if you could take action, that would be great from a neutral place. Neutral is very important. Nina would like a reading number 3, please. You are so welcome, Nina. Oh, and again, as I do these readings, if it's resonating with you and feels like I'm hitting the mark, I would love some feedback, because I'm just here talking to this computer screen, and it is a little bit weird on my part. So any feedback would be welcome. All right, so Nina, that's your card. So this is interesting. I'm getting kind of 2 things kind of thrown together. I'm feeling like you're having, and I'm going to say some anxiety. Maybe you're having a little bit of hard time sleeping. I definitely get the impression that you're having a hard time relaxing. So perhaps something you can do is to actually stop and take a break. I get the impression that you like try to use your tools and try to do these things to shift the energy, but it's almost like you're going into too much effort. And sometimes when we're in that place, like, I gotta breathe, I gotta breathe, I gotta breathe, the best thing to do is just stop and take a little emotional break from what's going on so that you can kind of reset on the inside. Because I feel like once you reset on the inside, all the rest of it will go away, or you'll have a better, be more open to receiving like what the plan is to moving forward, because I'm feeling like you're not doing that. So okay, so Yvonne would like a reading, and I'm just doing a reading, Yvonne, not doing questions these days. But if you would like to ask me a question, you can always schedule a private consultation, because that's what they're for. But I'll do a number 3 for you. All right, Yvonne, where do you want it? You want it right there. Okay, so this is the card that came up for you. Okay, so Yvonne, well, I'm sure this is going to make sense for you, but I feel like your energy just to you feels very stuck. The picture that you're showing me is that, okay, they're giving me an analogy that, yes, there's kind of a door in front of you, but the analogy they're giving me is that you need to become like water. You need for your energy to just flow without attachment, without desire, without wanting to have an outcome, so that that water can just flow under the door to the next place. I feel like you're hitting, how like we cycle through and we hit the top of a level and we hit that door and there's the challenge and the test and I feel like you're hitting one of those doors, and that door, the test, is about you being egoless. I'm trying to think of a better way of expressing that. I guess allowing, you just allowing whatever wants to happen, whatever needs to happen, and follow the internal flow versus trying to make the flow happen. Because right now, trying to make the flow happen isn't happening. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, Veronica, reading please, number 1. Number 1. Okay, Veronica. Okay, that's your card. Okay, so Veronica, I am feeling like it would be in your best interest, and this is kind of going on after our conversation today, so sorry everybody, but I did talk to Veronica today, that it would be important for you to really kind of get into your heart and be able to be honest, and have whatever you need to say, whatever you have to say, come from this place of honesty and authenticity, because you really don't have anything to lose by doing that, because either it's going to work or not. And sitting there and using fancy language or trying to like finagle it one way or the other isn't going to make it any better. But I feel like at least if you're coming from your authentic self, from your true self, from that deep within you spot, that you will be sharing your truth. And I feel like that might be heard better, or at least you'll feel better about it. So that's my 2 cents. Okay, so Christine says, "My Abba reading number 3." Okay, Christine. Okay, so Christine, here's your card. So Christine, I get the impression that there's, and I'm going to say it this way, that there's something that you need to do. I want to say want to do, but maybe, it's more you need to do. But there's some fear sitting in the way. And so you're not really moving forward with it. And what, their commentary to me right off was, you need to stand up and take your own counsel, and be the big person in the room, and take command of the situation, because you're the only one to take command of the situation. So if it's something that you want, if it's something that you need, if it's something that you desire, then you need to take your own counsel and just move forward with it. And sometimes that can be the scariest freaking thing on the planet. I know. But it's not going to get resolved until you take that step for yourself. I hope that makes sense. Okay, ERRT Radio would like a reading number 3. Okay. Okay, and this is your card for today. So it's interesting. I get the impression that you're in a little bit of a transition period, but it's kind of a big transition, kind of new cycle for you. I feel like, all right, so I don't want to scare you with this, but I feel like something that you are starting to work on is self-love. I feel like, for whatever reason, which I'm not even going to look at, you have decided to kind of take a step back and start observing what's going on in your world. I feel like there are things that you have seen and noticed that feel and seem pretty toxic or not really helpful or healthy to you. I don't get the impression that you necessarily have acted on this. I feel like you're really more in that observation mode. Because once we look at something and we decide we really don't like it, it doesn't take that much for us to move forward and change it. And I feel like, this is, again, a new cycle for you. And I'm just going to say long overdue. Long overdue. Okay. So Veronica wanted to know if Bigfoot and aliens are connected to reptilians. Well, reptilians are aliens. I don't know about the Bigfoot part. So Gary says, is that the round hole that they found here lately? I'm not really, I don't know if you're talking to me, Gary, so I'm just going to I don't even know what round hole you're talking about. But the entrances to these underground bases are found around the world, or we wouldn't have stories that come from around the world with these entrances. So, okay. Antonella says, hi, Antonella. Hi, Julie. Nice to see you tonight. Hi, Miss Amy. Unar, Una na R would like a reading. Hi, number 3. You sure can. Okay, and that's your card for today. Ooh. So it's interesting. What you're showing me is that you're kind of getting things lined up. I feel like there's this behind the scenes organizational process, figuring things out, coming up with a plan, trying to navigate, I'm going to say your next step, a project that you're going to be working on. I don't get the impression that there has been necessarily movement in the physical. I feel like this is more in the theoretical realm. I feel like, a part of you likes to have your ducks at least somewhat in a row before you move forward on things. And I feel like, that's what you're doing, kind of doing some research and planning. And it's interesting because I'm feeling, this is kind of random, that there's a piece missing, even in your research. And so, maybe, and I'm going to say it this way: pray, ask the universe to bring that piece to you. I feel like you're very open to receiving it right now, from wherever it may come. And it really doesn't matter where it comes from. Because I feel like you're trying to find it and you're not finding it, so ask for the universe to provide it for you, so it might be a book, it might be a person, who knows where it'll come from, it might be something you hear on the radio or TV. So cool. Hi, Dave Perry. How are you doing? And Julie would like a number 3. Okay, Julie, number 3. Okay, Julie, number 3, here's your card. One of these days I'll figure this out. And excuse the yawning. I had like an emotionally challenging day today. And when I do these shows, it really gives me doing readings for me is a very mindful practice, because I have to focus on doing the readings, which also gives me, if I have stuck energy, the opportunity to let it go. And when my energy is shifting, or your energy is shifting, or there's movement happening, I yawn. So it's not that I'm tired, well, maybe a little tired, but my energy is shifting. So just ignore the yawn ish. Ooh. So, Julie, is there something that you're like keeping on life support that you're like putting a bunch of energy in trying to keep it alive? Um, because if that's the case, I'm not feeling like it's going to come back, and you're putting out all of this energy um, needlessly. How's that? So maybe it's a time to take a step back and reassess the situation. Um, but I'm not feeling like it's going to get better, and I don't feel like it's going to change. Um, and you being in the middle of it isn't helping anything other than, I'm going to say, wasting your energy. You exhausting yourself in trying to fix something that's broke and is not fixable by you, not fixable by you. I hope that makes sense. And again, anybody that I've done a reading for, if you would offer feedback, I would love to receive that. Hey, Miss Amy, and she would like a number 2. You got it, Amy. I'll tell you what, that mask card's been on the bottom, and my plan is to keep it down there. Because last week was like Mask Card City. Oh my God. Okay. All right, Amy, what do you got going on? So that's your card for today. Oh. Okay. So the cycle that you've been in, Amy, that kind of I'm pulling my energy back. I'm taking care of myself. I don't really want to be out there. That regrouping phase that you, and I'm going to say we're going through, is about to come to an end. I feel like you've kind of re-energized, haven't totally repositioned, but have re-energized and are ready for your next big adventure. So good for you for being able to take the time and kind of pull everything back so that you can, kind of get back to you and then put it back out there. I do hope before you move into this next phase, which I'm feeling is going to come on pretty quick, that you spend a little time reflecting this last cycle, because you do cycle through it a lot, or very often, not a lot, but often. And it seems like it's the same pattern, and maybe there's a piece of information that you can glean so that as you move into this cycle again, which I'm not feeling is bad, you can do it with some more awareness and not end up with the burnout, because I feel like you go through the cycle and you end up getting burned out, so maybe without the burnout, or decide to stop and pull it in before you hit that period. So then the cycle becomes more manageable for you. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lesson in there that would be great for you to tap into. Okay, Cindy would like a reading number 2. Number 2. Uh-oh, Cindy, you got a mask card. No. So I pulled the card, and then this was under, but you know what, Cindy? I'm not digging it, so I'm putting it back. Okay. So, all right. So for new people, the mask cards usually identify where there's an energy stuck, where there's something you don't want to look at or deal with or address. And so I pull cards until I feel like the energy has been cleared or something has shifted in your energy. And that's what I take a look at. Okay. So Cindy, this is really interesting. So I feel like, so usually this card comes up and my initial reaction is that it's about nurturing and taking care of yourself. But what I'm feeling for you is that there was something going on and you've forgiven yourself. You have decided to let go of the guilt or the grief. Some heavy emotional energy. I feel that that energy has been with you a very long time. I feel like this decision to let it go, and when I say let it go, we don't like sit there and go, I'm going to let it go today. It don't work that way. But, things happen and we react, and sometimes the reaction is letting it go. Um, but I feel like I don't know, you feel lighter and you feel reinvigorated. I mean, it's almost like you're a newborn baby again. I think it's weird that I'm saying that, but I'm saying it because I just feel like there's like this whole long chain of crap that you've let go of, that has been weighing you down for a really long time. So yay, yay. I really want to hear about that one. Okay, we're gonna like take these mask cards and stick them down the bottom. Okay. Hi, Margie. This is so interesting as the common threads linking different ancient peoples. Margie, that is something that I totally believe in, and I do a different presentation called Myth is History, which really gets into that topic because there really is a global narrative on the planet. And all you need to do is really look. And I'm going to pat myself on the back. So my book, all right, so this is Man-Made. You can get this off my website or on Amazon. It would be E.T. Chronicles, What Myth and Legends Have to Say About Human Origins. It talks about this global myth. And the only other person that I have seen talk about this is a professor, Michael Wessler, who's a professor of like Sumerian and Assyrian studies, like way freaking smarter than me. And his book was like that thick. It was very interesting and it was a kind of dry read, but it really validated everything that I had put in my book. So I felt very good about it. But mine's way easier to read. Anyway. Okay, so a horse says, Dr. Rita, hello, and thank you for the talk. Looking forward to hearing next week talk. I have a reading, please, number 2. You may have a reading, please, number 2. And the cards just don't want to mix right now. Okay. Dang. You got a mask card too. Holy crap. I think we're having like a mask card party. So there were 2 cards and I was just going to like do the second card, but then I pulled in, there was a mask card and there was a mask card underneath that. So hang on 1 second while I like try to get rid of those bad boys. Too many. Okay, O'Hara. So what do you got going on? So is today a bad day? I'm just feeling like you're just feeling a little bit challenged today, and just want to escape. I mean, what I'm feeling like is that, crying would be okay. Letting go of whatever that is would be okay. Giving yourself permission for having a bad day would be okay. Ooh. And I just sent you a little bit of healing energy, just to kind of get your grounding moving a little bit better so you can kind of work through this process of letting go. Okay. All right. Oh, Marco's here, but we knew that, Marco. Okay, Unar, I already gave you a reading. Hi, Marco. Melanie would like a reading, so you didn't give me a number. So I'm going to do a 2 for you, Melanie. Okay, so Melanie, this is your card. And Melanie, are you a new person? I'm not recognizing you. So if you're a new person, welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm Dr. Rita Louise, and thanks for being here. So Melanie, and I don't know when this happened. I feel like it's fairly recent, but I'm not going to say like last week, the last few months. Yeah, last few months, less than a year. I feel like you've kind of come out of your shell. I feel like you have been more open to exposing yourself and exposing your truth. I feel like, okay, so as an example, I have a lot of friends who do ghost hunting, and metaphysical type work, and they won't tell anybody, like it's a giant secret, that they're interested in it, and they've gone to haunted houses. And when they finally let that go, they get to be more whole as to who they are, and more authentic with themselves. And I feel like you've kind of broken through some energy and are being more you, more your true self, and you're putting that more on the outside. So good job for that. Good job. Okay. Hey, Don. Don's here, and we'd like a reading number 2. And he says, yes, aliens are here, have been for a very long time. Ask Bob Lazar. Two. All right. All right, Don. All right, this card already came up once, but you got it as well. So this is interesting, Don. I feel like you have been, well, kind of in a mixed place. So I feel like you've been in this observation mode of, like looking at things and trying to sort things out in your inner world, which I think is great, 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 great. But I want to put this caveat there. When stuff comes up, when you realize like you've been doing stupid stuff, when you realize that, maybe this isn't the best way of handling something, or whatever, it is, don't beat yourself up. I mean, it is what it is, and you were who you were, and it's not something that you can change the past. Just go, okay, I was a dumb shit, and move on, and not have it become a thing. If you can sit there and say that you're weird and say that you're a dumb shit and laugh it off, the better you'll be, so stop taking yourself so seriously. How's that? Okay. Okay, let's see. Nina would like a reading. Okay. Where are we? Okay. Okay. And Marco, yes, he has my permission to run it on there. And that's why if people want to participate in the show, they should go to my YouTube channel, Just Energy Radio on YouTube, and they can join the chat. 3. Nina would like a 3. All right, Nina, let's see. Oh, nice card. All right. And that's your card for today. Nina, I get the impression that you have been, and I'm going to say in a very receptive mood, receptive place lately. I feel like your clairsentience, your ability to empathize, your ability to feel energy has really moved forward. Um, I don't know if you're in a period, so periodically the universe will kind of play tricks with us and turn off one of our other abilities and make it so that we're forced to use a different one. But I'm just feeling like you are very open on a feeling level right now. But in the same breath, when you're really open on a feeling level, sometimes you have to take a little bit more caution because it's a lower chakra in the body. There's not a connection or a strong connection to our mental processing. And so it's harder to analyze it. And so I'm just suggesting that be aware that it is more open. I feel like for the most part, you're navigating it really well. So keep up the good work. And if that makes sense to you with what's going on in your life, I would love some feedback. Okay, hi, Holly. Are you another new name to the show? I'm not really sure, but you would like a reading number 3. And I will give you a number 3. Okay, and so guys, and so there are a few of you. Okay, so see, I have my born to kvetch shirt. So kvetch means bitch in Yiddish, which like complain bitch. Okay, so I'm gonna kvetch at you. That's gonna be like my new word, kvetch. If you ask me for a reading further up, I will give you a reading, but I have to make it through the comments. So if you ask 2 or 3 times, I'm going to give you I'm going to put your thing up and then give you the evil eye and then move on. Not mentioning any names, but, because I just go through them one at a time. Okay, so Holly, you didn't give me a number and I just mixed them up. So I'm just going to pull a card for you. And we're getting a lot of repeats again today. Okay, so this is your card. Okay, so Holly, kind of a very weird sensation I received from you. Have you been feeling like you're on a different planet or a different dimension? Do things seem weird or different to you? I'm not even sure how to describe it even. Because it was just kind of like a body sensation that I received. And it's interesting. Actually, I'm going to describe it in a different way. So what you're showing me is there's kind of this veil, so like an egg that you're sitting in, and your body is coming to and actually moving through this veil, and everything feels different and new and weird, but not weird in a bad way, weird in a really good way, like you've broken through something. And then periodically you'll end up back in the egg and things don't feel really good, but then you penetrate back out. And I'm feeling like you're in one of those penetrate back out places, but it's kind of a new place for you. To me, that image feels very healing, this is you being stuck inside of yourself and stuck inside of your ego. And this is more of a transcendent space. So whatever you're doing, it obviously is working because this feels really good and this not nearly as much. So if you could comment on that, I would love to hear what you have to say. Okay. Okay, Julie. I already did you, Julie. All right, so Yvonne said, see, Yvonne, you had a question, but I already answered it. Dr. Rita, that's exactly what I'm working on. I kid you not. Wow, you're so good. Okay. And Gary, I would love to give you another reading, but I'll still have people that I don't think I've done yet, and I only have a couple of minutes. So Veronica says, right on, Rita, I was authentic and it did help me feel better. Yay! Yay. So Marco wants to know, did you know your show is also being played on ERRT on YouTube? And yes, I do, because they like me and they think I have good hair too, Marco. Okay, Melanie, I gave you a reading. Christine, right on, thank you. Okay, Master Players, Radio and Television, hi, how you doing? I don't have time. I'm not doing any more readings tonight. I'm just kind of going through these. Julie says, your reading resonates. I can see where I might be wasting my time and energy. Thank you. You are so welcome. Unar, thank you, Dr. Rita. I am definitely thinking and planning a new painting. I was feeling it, especially toward the end. Fun. Yay. Amy said, thank you. Spot on again. Definitely gearing up. Great advice. We'll take time to reflect and get the lessons. Excellent. Julie says, on the other hand, you were yawning a bunch during my reading. Perhaps some energy moved that I needed to move in me. And Julie, that's very possible. I mean, I know that my energy was moving because it was feeling kind of stuck. And so you might have moved some energy in you. So yay for both of us. We got like some energy moved. Cindy said, yes, so accurate. I definitely have really been working on it and am a newborn soul. I appreciate you. You are so welcome. Melanie said, yes, I am. Thank you. Dawn says, thank you. You've been hearing me. Nina says, I wasn't sure if I saw it last time. I do feel tired, but also excited about the future. I am feeling lighter from releasing things. Excellent. Okay. And then Holly says, thank you for the reading. I hope you're reading some of my future. I feel like I'm currently in my crappy egg. I'm sorry that you're feeling like you're in your crappy egg, but swim through that little clear stuff to the outside. And Holly, I feel like you kind of alternate back and forth. And so when you're feeling that expansiveness, know that you're not in the crappy egg anymore, and try to find out ways to own that more, or what is going on inside of you, or not going on inside of you, as the case probably would be, that helps you be in that not crappy egg. Okay. All right, guys, it is time. Oops. Go back here, get rid of that. So again, these are just little mini readings. If you have specific questions, if you have stuff going on, if you need some in-depth guidance and advice, please reach out to me at my webpage. And if I did this, it would work better, soulhealer.com. And again, anyone who wants to join this chat and get a reading like these fine people did tonight, go to my YouTube channel, Just Energy Radio on YouTube, 7:00 p.m. Central, every Thursday evening, and click on the live link and you will be able to join the fun. Anyway, guys, until next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. We will continue with reptilians. Till then, be blessed.